Welcome to the Gospel Formed Men podcast. I'm your host, Mark Winton, Associate Pastor of Men's Ministry here at Grace PCA. And really the simple purpose of this podcast is to encourage you and equip you that the gospel is way more than enough that you need to glorify and enjoy Jesus in this generation. Brothers, I'm so glad you clicked on the link and decided to join us for this podcast. Really, this month's podcast is going to just highlight a couple of our upcoming events. One of those being our men's breakfast that will occur on August 22nd. And then our second one will be the men's hiking trip, which will be September 10th through 13th out in Dillon, Colorado. To help highlight some of these events, I've got one of my favorite people at Grace. I know as pastors, I'm probably not supposed to have favorites, but he bears my name, Mark Brown. If you don't know Mark has been with Crew Ministry for 3+ decades, I think. Now is the director of Lifelines Ministry, which is their outdoor adventure arm of their ministry. He's a huge fan and proponent of all things men's ministry. So he's just a great encourager to me as a brother in Christ, and then even a great encouragement in our men's ministry. So I'm so glad to have you on this podcast with us.
There we go. My maiden voyage on podcast world.
That's right. Oh,
this is it.
First ever.
Yeah.
Okay, man, watch out.
I
know. Now you're hitting the big times. But, this year, Mark, you probably know our theme has been from 1 Corinthians chapter 16, where Paul exhorts the church in Corinth to act like men. He says, be watchful, stand firm in the faith, be strong, act like men, do everything in love. And then part of that, we recognize in biblical masculinity that God's called men to do 3 different things. Probably more than these, but at least we figure we'd, focus on some of these. The first is shepherding. Stephen Sweat talked about that a couple months ago at our first breakfast. He talked about that at the fish fry. And then our next theme is actually God calls men to build. And because you're such a dear brother in Christ, because you're a great proponent of men's ministry, and then I even got to see you, which we'll probably talk about here, test your own building skills by building a shed in your backyard. Mm-hmm. So with that, my first question to you is, why do you think God has called men specifically to build? Mm-hmm. And what are those aspects of building?
Yeah. Well, I think when I think about what it means to be a man, I think in a lot of ways that means to take responsibility, to take some chaos in your world and turn it into order. But even more than that, just as humans created in God's image, we're makers. I mean, He was the first maker, creating order out of chaos. And after each day, looking back and saying, this is good, this is good. And we image Him when we build things, when we make things better, when we repair things, when we produce things, and when we're artists in a degree. All that is imaging Him as a maker. And I think as men, we're maybe even more specifically called to take responsibility,
huge,
and to bear the brunt of what needs done sometimes.
Yeah.
And whatever. I mean, we all have different kind of, quote, building abilities, like if you're thinking about fixing your house or building something. But I think we image Him as men taking responsibility and building.
Yeah. And again, not to say that women don't bring order into chaos, right? But again, it's just the different, I think you'd say amen to this. What men do differently is in terms of, I think you hit the nail on the head, building pun intended, right? But that responsibility being pegged on men as God sees it. And then in terms of maybe women typically nurture to bring order into chaos, but men kind of do more the systems or accountability or repairing those those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's too.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talk about stereotypes, but all things being equal in a typical world, this is true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know there's lots of women out there that are probably better builders,
Oh, true.
better repairing of their house things than their husbands, maybe, or those
Right.
listening. But I think that's the idea that we're saying something needs attention. I'll take
Mhm.
responsibility for this. I see a need. I'll meet the need. I'll persevere in that need.
Yeah.
That's specifically a headship shepherding thing, feels like to me,
Yeah.
as a man.
So, yeah, that's even cool how the shepherding and the building
Mm-hmm.
kind of go together. It's not like God's calling us to these uniquely different things. And then
Yeah.
each man is called to these things as well, in that image bearer that you've been talking about. So, I alluded to this a little bit, right? But, I can't remember, I don't know, February or March timeframe, I guess.
Can't remember if it's cold or what. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
been
you
a
were,
year and a half.
you've been building a shed. I think the project is now complete.
Yes.
Or at least
Yeah.
the external. I don't know if you're upgrading the internal much.
Thought about it. I don't think it's going to go any more than it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I built, early on in my ministry career, some people encouraged me to get into building, woodworking, things like that, because it was tangible. And ministry is very much, and probably a lot of people have jobs that are very much like that. If you're working with people, you're never done.
Yeah.
And it's nice to build something, look back and think, oh, I did that.
Right.
I built that. So that's been kind of a therapy for me for my whole career, and worked on lots of different things. And this last thing was like, I saw a need. Okay, we need more space. My garage is very small. And so, took down some trees and had some people pour foundation. But as we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, there's so many elements to even that job for me and what it means to build your life, all the things that go into building, whether it's, for me, it was finding the plan first.
Right.
And then purchasing the plan, downloading the plan, thinking about the part list, everything that goes with it. Hiring, so I pulled out the trees, but I hired guys to pour the foundation because I realized after it was going to take 80 bags and a mixer, and
You're not
in
as young
short,
as you used to be.
No, even getting it back there, much less the different consistencies of the concrete by the time you get to the 80th bag. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So I had that done, and then just all along the way, getting help from you and others to build it. It's just really similar to what it means to build a life or build a career, build your faith, build relationships. All these things take a vision. They take a plan.
Right.
They take perseverance. It's amazing for me how if I'm building something, I finish it. If I'm helping somebody, I give them 3 or 4 hours and I walk away and I'm done. Mm-hmm. And it's this idea of owner versus renter. Like, this build is what I'm committed to.
Yeah.
And you got to finish it. You got to find a way to finish it.
Yeah.
And take responsibility for it like you do your life. So anyway, there's just so many things that happen along the way that kind of really relate to what it means to build as a man, build your life, build your faith, etc.
Sure. Even though it's something, very tangible, like you said, you get to see the finished product, but there are those intangible things that are forming you as a man, doing that actual tangible product.
Yeah.
And again, building all of those ways that you said, but something that blessed your family even in the process too, because I think that's probably one of the big areas where we're called to build into specifically, right? We build into our faith, we build into our families, we build into the church, not just the project. We'll talk about that here a little bit more in the end. But a lot of men, especially if you've got gifts, or I don't want to bring up all my bad home repair when you were saying there are women that could do home repair better than you can. I know that's true for me.
I didn't know that was
I could spend a podcast telling stories.
Kill me with his bare hands. But whatever.
I could tell a bunch of stories about how I have failed at home repair or whatever. But you talk about, like, sometimes men try and go about building solo, kind of on their own. What are some of the dangers of that?
Yeah. Well, I know some really good builders that tend to want to work alone.
Mm-hmm.
They've shown me some tricks about how you can like put a board up on one side, clamp it, go on the other side, go up the ladder, nail it in, go back to the other side, nail it in. Like there are ways to build alone,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a lot harder,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot slower, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes not as good. But some of those men I know that build alone, so they don't have choices, but they build alone a lot because they don't want to have to deal with other people. They don't want to have to train a crew. They don't want to have to have relationships. They don't want to talk to anybody. They just want to do their thing,
Mm-hmm.
which really relates to how I think as men we can tend to want to build alone, build your life alone, build your faith alone. These things it's just easier to do it by yourself. What's that proverb says? Like if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
And it's just like this life we build. We weren't ever designed to do it alone. We were always designed to do it in community, right? To build as the body together.
Sure.
I was just reading this morning in John 17 that he prayed that we would be one as he is one. And it is always this plural throughout that whole chapter, right?
Yeah.
It's the we, it's you all of us together,
right,
as one.
Yeah.
Imaging him, glorifying him, showing the world that we love each other in a way that's supernatural. These are all the things we're called to as men. And it is harder. I think it's even harder as you get older to build together with men. It comes pretty easy in college, I think, or when you're younger.
Mm-hmm.
And the older you get, I mean, statistically, you lose friends as you get older as
That's
men,
right.
especially.
Yeah,
You don't get new ones very easy.
That's right.
It takes intentionality. And it's much like a plan. Like if I'm going to say, this was the plan to build this shed. It's going to take this long. It's going to take these materials. I got to get all this together. And when we think about building our lives or building our faith, it needs to be that intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Opposite. I think he's going to show you a picture of the shed.
I will.
Opposite of the shed is my deck that I built 10 years ago, which had 4 piers in it. And when I was digging those piers with the auger, I dug 3 out of the 4 really well.
Okay.
And the 4th one was right by my air conditioner.
Oof.
Hard to get in there by myself.
Yeah.
Nobody else running the auger but me. I dug it like 1.5 feet instead of the 3 foot you're supposed to dig. Looks good. I was kind of done. Stop.
Yeah.
And if I could show you a picture now, you'd see the stairs are completely unattached and destroyed. And I put in new stringers because after 10 years, the whole thing was like the Leaning Tower of Pisa in terms of the stairs going this way. And I just had to dig it out and redo it. And I mean, I just didn't think ahead enough to think, I got to have help on this. I got to do this with somebody else. It's not going to last. It's not going to stand the test of time if we don't do it with somebody else here.
Sure.
Get some help.
Yeah.
And I feel like that takes a lot of intentionality for me as a man to say, I need friends. I'm going to call somebody.
Yep.
And in going back to the bill, I'm just going through this. It's like I had my son-in-law help me. I had you help me. I had Kim Grubbs come twice.
Right.
Thanks, Kim.
Yeah.
And I think there was 1 or 2 others that came, and one, it was just way more fun.
Yeah. Oh.
And connection time.
Well, I think that's it. I mean, from my end, right? Like I was like, man, why is Mark Brown inviting me to build anything? He must, assume a lot because I'm an Army guy that I got all these skills and capabilities. And maybe I did make things a little bit more efficient because you could stay up on the ladder and I could hand things to you to a degree. But I think building that connection, building that partnership, because that's what the Apostle Paul was doing, right? Like, again, building partnerships in the gospel with other men, right? Is very important. Yeah. So that kind of leads us to another question that you and I have talked about when we've talked about this thing of building is because you mentioned, hey, we build because we're made in God's image. So what's God's role and what's our role when it comes to building?
Yeah, in 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds.
We got that, no problem.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that with Psalm 127. Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain.
So true.
And it's not that they can't build alone, that they build in vain.
Yeah.
right? It's worthless in the end.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's even worse than that. We can talk about that, but it can kind of become idolatry. But I think, another passage I think that relates is Psalm 24:1. It says, "The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, everything that exists, including the things we make." So all of us, all that's in the earth is all His.
Yeah.
And when I think about how this is all His, including me, I think, what's my responsibility? Like He builds and I build. How do we build?
Yeah.
I don't, and I don't always know,
Right.
but I think I can build in a way that is for me, or I think I can build in a way that's for Him.
Mm-hmm.
And so how I'm building, why I'm building, with whom am I building, what's the goal of my building? These are all questions really of ownership. And I think last year I was working on something else, and this phrase really came to me. It felt like that this has become a model for me in my life, is that when I think about ownership, it's all His, but what's my part?
Mm-hmm.
And the sentence is, "Together in love, we walk with God and we work with God."
Yeah.
This idea that we're in community, in a loving community, and we're built for intimacy. We walk with God like the garden.
Yeah.
And we work with God.
Yeah.
And we join Him in His work, right? And so everything is His, and yet He asked me to come and work alongside Him like a little boy helping his dad build something.
Sure.
He's like, "I just get to be with Dad and build something today. This is great."
Yeah.
So there is this, I don't know. That picture for me helps thinking about responsibility and ownership.
Yeah. And I think it really even points to even what Jesus, as you're talking, I'm thinking about Jesus and Peter, right? Like, upon this rock,
oh yeah,
I will build my church. Jesus is doing the building,
right,
but He's talking to Peter. And again, just that, I forget the whole saying that you said, but in love, right? Like that there was this intimacy with the Lord while doing the building.
Yeah.
Peter definitely had a part to play in that.
Yeah.
But it's but this promise of it's Jesus's church.
Yeah.
Right? I will build my church. Anyway.
Yeah. Or we could look in Corinthians, think about the body of Christ and all the elements of the body of Christ, how they all function together. But it's Christ.
That's right.
We're joined with as the head.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And I think that kind of dovetails us into this last segment, which you actually kind of just touched on a little bit about when can building go wrong?
Yeah. I mean, I've been thinking about how building can become idolatry. I don't build for God's sake or for others' sake. I build so that I build a name for my sake.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm building the temple to me.
Right.
Or I'm doing what I want to do. Sure. And even in the Old Testament, there are clear examples of godly building and ungodly building. You think about the Tower of Babel. This is a big project, and they built something bigger than it's ever been built at that time. And it was all for their own glory and for their own rebellion. So I think building can become an act of rebellion, or an act of worship, depending if your attitude, perspective, goals, what's driving this thing I'm building, whether it's my career or whether it's my family, or even, you can put ego in everything.
That's right.
And
well, we even know that with ministry, don't we? I mean, sadly,
gosh,
right?
Sure. It's not really. Yeah, but in contrast, like the builders in the temple that were filled with the Spirit had this ability to be a craftsman that was supernatural. Yeah. And they were working on God's house.
For the glory of God.
For the glory of God, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like, that's something, since we talked last week, I've been thinking about what it means to build the tower or build the temple. And it really is about my heart, my goals.
Sure. Yeah.
And a lot of my building in the past has been really about, the Tower of Mark.
Right.
And, sorry to put your name in there.
No, that's all right. I've built one too.
And then you notice I don't get the accolades I wanted. I didn't get the result I wanted. In the end, it was in vain, just like that Psalm says. Mm-hmm. It wasn't worth it. It didn't work. Right.
Yeah. Because I wasn't doing it, going back to your other point, like in partnership with the Lord.
Right.
For the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Together in love, we walk with God and we work with God.
There we go.
This intimacy and cooperative effort.
Yeah. Or my catchphrase is intimacy and duty.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, intimacy driving duty. But anyway, well, good.
That's good.
Yeah, well, brothers, hopefully that kind of just whets your appetite for this upcoming breakfast, August 22nd, 8 to 9:30 here at the church gym. Chris Bryan's going to be cooking for us, so I'm sure it's going to be off the chain, good food. Caleb Stiegel is going to be our guest speaker. Again, this year we wanted not just the pastors, but we wanted men speaking to men. Caleb's done a lot of building himself. I'll let him share what his building looked like in his own life. He definitely builds into the church. He's a churchman in a lot of ways, has built into his family. And again, we wanted men from each of the generations to kind of speak to all of us as men. So you'll be blessed if you join us August 22nd, 8 to 9:30. Good breakfast, good discussion. But then right on the heels of that, we've got the men's hiking trip, which is another reason why I wanted Mark Brown to join us for this podcast. So September 10th through 13th, we're going out to Prospector Lake in Dillon, Colorado. And Mark does a lot of outdoor ministry stuff, professionally as a part of his calling. And you've been a part of this hiking trip. So, tell guys why they should be really interested in joining us for this hiking trip. And he's going to be the spiritual content guide as well. So,
yeah, I think it's hard to take time and be intentional, but this is one of those blueprint moments where you can decide how you want to intentionally live your life. And if it means connecting with other men and you're not getting enough of that, this is a great time to do that.
Yeah.
And part of building is knowing when to take a break.
Yeah.
And have a glass of water and have a snack and refuel.
Right.
And I think this is a good time to say, I'm going to intentionally take a break, build into some friendships with other guys, or even better yet, take some friends with me that you can build into. I think this is we've had a lot of friends.
Yes.
People bring friends.
And
we try to make the spiritual content something that other people would be open to.
That's right. Yeah.
Talk about the gospel, of course, but have it be an environment where other guys would want to hang out. And join us. And the hiking levels are varied, so whatever you want to do, you can find a path to do that much work. So,
it really is a great way to build into the men in the church, right? Either yourself as a man or building with other men, just because you're going to get a car trip to Colorado where you're going to have time to get to know each other, right? You're going to be able to do side-by-side stuff with other men on some of these hikes. So typically we drive out there Thursday, have a meal together in the evening, some talk, some campfire sessions. We'll see about the campfires given the burn warnings. But anyway, and then Friday we'll all do a hike together. Again, meals together, camping together. Saturday it's kind of choose your own adventure in terms of hiking. Do you want real easy, kind of middle of the road, or you want to go tackle one of those big 14ers? We'll have all of those options for you. Sunday, short worship service in the morning, and then driving back to Kansas. So you're back home, usually in time to tuck your kids back in bed. So, if you're not registered for that, hit me up with an email, find the registration on Realm. And we'd love for you to join us for that. It's a great time for the men in our church to get away, draw closer to God, be closer to each other. So, hey, brothers, thanks so much for tuning in on this podcast. The Lord bless you and keep you, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the men's breakfast and hopefully on the hiking trip as well.